everything you see here is genuine. Nothing is a replica. Everything is genuine. So we're going to go to the theater, then we're going to see the place. So folks, what we're looking at right now, again, this is the theater of Caesarea. That says here, this is the house of Pontius Pilate. Right, this is the house of, we are now in the living room of Pontius Pilate. What they did, they used to build rafts made out of wood, wooden rafts. So let's say this is raft number 1, this is raft number 2. What they did, they drew lines. So this, let's say, the lines will be like this. Another thing that connects this, why did John, when he wrote the book of Revelation, not here, in Greece actually, why did he relate to this battle? There's two main events that happen here which are very important to us. One, of course, is the Battle of Deborah and Barak. To the side of the mountain, and he's looking at Mount Carmel. He knows who's Elijah is. If you gaze on the other side, you see those mountains over there? These are Mount Gilboa, recounted in 1 Samuel chapter 30, 2 Samuel chapter 1. This is the catalog. Imagine Mr. and Mrs. Cohen on Shabbos Eve are coming here to buy new tiles for their kitchen. Small boy from a small village seeing this, I think that makes such a huge impact on the boy. This one. Every time that I read the parable of Lazarus, I'm thinking of this. start in saying here, look at this. Jesus is coming to the headwaters of the Jordan River. This is the headwater, this is the origin of life. And he asks, who are the people that say on me? And they answer him, those who say John the Baptist, and others will say Elijah, and others will say Jeremiah, and others will say one of the prophets. Jesus comes here to the head source of life, right here, and he asks, who am I? And I will tell you that you, Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and even the gates of hell will not overcome it. And this here is a cave, which is, according to the Greek mythology, is one of the portals to hell, the kingdom of Hades. So when he comes and say, I will build my community on the heads of life and on the gates of hell. And even the gates of hell cannot open it. So I'm looking now at Genesis 14. In the book of Genesis, Og, king of Bashan, it's right over there. This is all this area, all the Golan Heights is the land of the giants of Bashan, what the Bible refers to, like the calf of Bashan.
So the 13-foot iron bed, King Og.
Og, right there.
Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled.
אשרי הרעבים והצמאים לצדקה, כי המה ישבעו.
Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy.
אשרי הרחמנים, כי המה ירחמו.
Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God.
So this is the fisherman village, and the house of Peter is right there underneath that spaceship, which is a Catholic church. Well, if you're an archaeologist and you come here to Capernaum, you're gonna look for two things: the synagogue and the house of Peter. So the synagogue was very obvious to find. So here we have two sites. We have archaeologically based, which is the synagogue, and we have deep tradition, which is right behind me, and that's the house of Peter. If we go up, they're built in a way that you see a window. The ceiling is actually see-through, and you can look from above. You can look from the place where those four friends look down before they took
lower the stretcher.
Folks, they found a synagogue dated to the time of Jesus, built on the first half of the first century AD. That's exactly the time. Exactly the time. Then Jesus comes down, the crowd's open, she stands here, yelling at him, cursing at him. He goes to her and he heals her. And everybody who opened that perimeter sees that right here, or there, or right in that corner. But that was here. That was definitely here. So this is very powerful because this place was destroyed in the war against the Romans in the year 66 AD, never to be rebuilt again. They used to go inside to all those 4 pillars. That synagogue was absolutely gorgeous with frescoes all around, like in Pompeii. Same thing. One, I think, of the most important discoveries ever since the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is a very rich village. Look at the quality of the stone. Look at that. It's all shaped. It's all. So that's a Luke 8. Okay. So and this is Magdala, Mary of Magdala. This is it. And you'll see how huge this city was. Amazing fact about this city. This city was destroyed in the year 749 AD in the month of January. We'll see it. We'll see how in one moment this entire amazing city was destroyed. We found things here, folks, which are unbelievable. We found a beam that crushed a young lady, and we found a skeleton of a lady holding a bag of money. She was trying to escape and the beam fell on her. What happened? The land just fell down. You see how the right side just slide down. That's how the city was destroyed. Okay? If you see that staircase that goes all the way up to the mount, on the right hand side there is two bumps. You see that? These are the Philistine walls. It looks like a bump from here, but from up there that does look like a wall. I want to hear the wall. Come on, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. And actually cooled off the entire main street.
Wow.
So you have a central air condition, 2,000 years old. Right here. The Romans, and then the Byzantines. And as we walk, guys, look at the mosaics. You recognize that inscription over there?
Pay your taxes.
Pay your taxes, we know you will live.
Is there a wall, or
There is a wall,
it's still there?
This place, folks, is to understand the story of Masada is this area. We decided to commit suicide because we don't want to be slave, live free or die. How did they build this? All these rocks, all these bricks. How did they build it?
Where they got the rocks?
That's a quarry. So they brought the slaves up here. Remember the first day we said it's good to be the king? It's good to be the king. All plastered with oil. All the way to the top. Okay? All with the fence along the mountain, all the way to Engedi. Synagogue of Masada. A lot of soldiers taking the oath. Pigeon. Why would we have pigeons up here? Messengers. Now, how does a pigeon know to fly to the direction we give it to? As you can see, the wall ends here. It ends here, right here, and then continues over there. That's the breaching point. The ramp came all the way up to here, and this is where they breached the walls. That's the day that they decided to commit suicide.
Guys, down here if you want to do it. It's down and back. There's a cistern where they had the survivors.
This place was destroyed in the year 68 AD, never to rebuild again. No one knew about this place. Up until 1947, no one had any idea what's the name of this place. And really unbelievable. This site is one of the sites that really changes our perspective and our understanding of the Bible. Up until the finding of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the oldest Bible that we had was about 1,000 years old. This is more than double than the oldest Bible that we had. And if you open it today, as I said on the bus, the Isaiah scroll that was written on that room over there and was hidden in this room over here, this cave over here, is identical to the book of Isaiah that we read before we go to sleep. So this is cave number 4. This is one of the majority of the scrolls that were found in cave number 4. The story of the finding of the scroll is absolutely incredible. In 1947, there was a Bedouin kid who was walking around with the goats next to all those rocks over there. One of these goats got into a cave, took a rock and he threw into the cave and he heard breaking jar. He walked in and he saw strange pieces of leather. He goes back to his dad, to his tent. On that day, a member of the Greek patriarchy was a guest at that kid's home, and he saw that, and he recognized that this is Hebrew. And he said to the kid, how much you want for that? Back in 1947. And the kid said, sure, of course. So he gave him the scroll. Most of the scrolls that we know today are in the possession of the State of Israel. And they're all at the Shrine of the Book in Jerusalem. By the way, those scrolls were found on November 29, 1947. On the day of the declaration of the partition plan in the UN, same day.
Okay, the work that we do here, and we hope you're going to help us, is archaeological work. We sometimes find weapons, arrowheads, bones, coins, and many more things that can teach us about the past. And this is the Western Wall Plaza. And almost 20 years ago, very large-scale illegal excavation took place on the southeastern part of the Temple Mount, conducted by the Islamic Trust in charge of holy places for Islam, known as the WAF. This is a close-up of the excavation. This is the floor of the Temple Mount right here. Okay, this is empty. Now it's time to wash the mud. You spread a thin layer and you wash until all the mud is gone.
Right, it goes.
In this case, probably a sheep or a goat, a young one. Everyone has it because it's cheap. That's the bottom line.
If you look down, you see that pyramid. That's the tomb of Zechariah. Okay? Next to it, there is a hole in the ground which is facing into the wall. Check on Google, tomb of King Uzziah, right over there. And it says, these are the bones of King Uzziah, do not move. That's actually on behalf of everything that we do, including the sifting project, including everything. And I didn't have so much time to tell you about it, but we are very, very proud of this. This is not a travel company. I'm sure you noticed there's not a lot of tourist trap that we took. Guy helped me with that. With 70 people, we need to go through canals. I think that the best way to start is in the beginning. This is Mount Moriah. Mount Moriah is right there. This is Mount Moriah. So you're gonna come and tell me, but this is a plateau, that's not a mountain. This is now a plateau. Herod, what he did, after the temple was built by Zechariah. Second temple, guys, were built by Zechariah, not by Herod. Herod renovated the second temple. When God tells Abraham, go and sacrifice your son, your only son, the one that you love, this is Mount Moriah. Moriah in Hebrew means guidance by God. Moreh, Yah. Yah is the ending of the word God. Yah, okay? So Moriah, God will show, or guided by God. This is Mount Moriah. So according to the scriptures, this is the place where Abraham binded Isaac. Very important to us because that's the prefiguration of the crucifixion of Jesus. Very important. Isaac carrying his own wood to be sacrificed, same as Jesus carrying his own cross to be sacrificed. So many stories of the Bible happen here. This place in the time of Jesus was within the city walls. This was the temple. That set of stairs that you see right behind those trees, these are the gates to the temple, some of the gates. This is the place where Jesus walked upon. That area underneath us, my group saw it, this is the place of the mass baptism of the 3,000. Today is outside the city walls because these walls are Turk. This is brand new walls, 1536 AD. That's brand new. That's nothing. But we are here in places that was built by the Jebusite, later on by Solomon, later on by Hezekiah. Psalm 71, yeah. על נהרות בבל שם ישבנו וגם בכינו בזוכרנו את ציון. That's the Hebrew. Yeah. There you go. Nehemiah comes back, they build the city, and then the city gets expanded. And in the time of Jesus, Zedekiah, son of Josiah, not our Josiah, Josiah, about 1,000 years before Jesus. Jesus' time is above Nehemiah actually. Water is a symbol of power. If you control the water, you control the power. David saw this place and said, you know what? Okay, this city, this is a Jebusite city. If this is a Jebusite city, they have a secret water passage, same as Megiddo. If I will take this water passage, if I'll take this water factory, this city will surrender in 3 days. So we're going to walk down into a shaft that was built by the Canaanites about 700 years before David. All right? So David said, he who will strike the pipe will become minister. That's Joab son of Tzuriah. Yoav and Tzuriah and Abner son of Ner. Two mighty men of David came in and conquered the pipe, not the city. They conquered the water supply of the city and the city surrendered. Built by King Hezekiah, renovated by King Herod. This is only 4% of the city, of the pool. Oh. Another 96% is behind me in this garden. So you ask, if you know that, why don't you dig? And this is one of the only places, that and this, that we can tell for a fact that Jesus touched those stones. Line here, this is the pool, this is the tunnel of Hezekiah.
Neither this man nor his parents sinned in the Bible and put it on the man's eyes. Go. Disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Neither.
I want to read it to you in Hebrew. I'm not going to translate after that. שיר המעלות לדוד, שמחתי בו אומרים לי, בית אדוני נלך. עומדות היו רגלינו בשערייך ירושלים. ירושלים הבנויה כי עיר שחוברה לה יחדיו. למען בית אדוני אלוהינו, אבקשה טובה.
Blocked off. But this is exactly where Jesus would have walked up and sent into the temple. The psalm you just heard, Omer read, is what Jesus would have sung coming up here. This is also where Peter stood at the top. And this is where Jesus literally would have walked up into the temple on these steps.
That cross, he paid the price that you and I couldn't pay. Now Jesus had to go to the cross, my friend, because the Bible tells us that without a shedding of blood, there is no remission or forgiveness of sin. The garden, more specifically as a vineyard, about 2,000 years ago. Friends, he is alive and well today. You better believe it. Friends.
Mecca used to inform of movements of armies. Why is that important? Because the Philistines are right behind us. This is the triangle of borders between Dan, Judah, and the Philistines, which were behind us. We're going to walk over there. As you walk, you see where these people are standing right now? These are all scriptures. This is all been made for kids, for Israeli kids. This is all 1 Samuel 17. That speaks the entire course of the battle. They're all scriptures. So the battle of David versus Goliath is probably one of the most well-documented battles, I think, in history, even more than anything I know. We can analyze a second by second what happened over there. Layer, this is the Mediterranean. So all of that, that's Philistine land. We're in Judah, that's Philistine. Show you exactly.
Yes.
The battle explained second by second.
Because Ty tried to explain it, we just weren't sure.
This is by far my favorite place to end the trip. My favorite place. I need a volunteer to read in English 1 Samuel 17. Before we go, just to understand where we are, okay? West is Philistine. All this land over there that you see over there. You actually see that glow. You see the glow way back in the horizon? This is the Mediterranean. This is the city of Ashdod. Right over there. Before Ashdod, between us and Ashdod, that's Gath. City of Gath. Philistine folks were a police state. They were not a nation. There were 5 police states: Gath, Ekron, Ashdod, Ashkelon, and Gaza. You see the forest? Behind the forest, that's Bethlehem. So Bethlehem is very close. Very close. It's less than a day walk from here. The Philistines came after the battle of Ibn Ezra and they destroyed Shiloh. They burned down the tabernacle, they took the Ark of the Covenant, and they killed Hophni and Phinehas. You remember that? And they oppressed the Jews so much there was not even one metalsmith in the entire land of Judah. So the Jews had bronze and not metal. Okay? When the Philistines gathered their army, they came to crush the rebellion of Saul. Saul was from the tribe of Benjamin. David is the tribe of Judah. Saul from the tribe of Benjamin. The capital of Benjamin was Shiloh. But it was destroyed by now. Okay? So Saul is fighting all the time against the Philistines who are trying to oppress again the Jews. One of the main reasons why they didn't call Jews back then, called Israelites or Hebrews. One of the main reasons why David is such an important king in the Bible, he's the one that after him, the Philistines are a bunch of pussycats. You hear nothing about the Philistines anymore. This is David. Alright? So, the armies of the Philistines gathered together to war against Israel for a final showdown to completely destroy the kingdom of Saul. So we're going to read it verse by verse. We're going to analyze this battle. And here is truly, truly the place where really the Bible come to life in so many dimensions. Look at that. You see that? See with the 2 antennas, with the road, all of this. This is the Philistine camp. Try to imagine every tree is a Philistine soldier. Okay, so this is the Philistine camp, stretched all the way from here all the way to Sukkot, which is right over there. They're clearly invaded into Judah. So the Israelite camp is between the satellite dishes and the forest hill right in front of us. Okay? And you see the valley between them? There's a valley with the road. See that? This is the valley of Elah. Okay, so valley of Elah actually stretched from this horseshoe all the way into the satellite dishes. This is the valley of Elah.
A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. He had a bronze helmet on his head and wore a coat of scale armor of bronze weighing 5,000 shekels. On his legs, he wore bronze greaves and a bronze javelin slung on his back.
So a war hero by the name Goliath from the city of Gath comes out of the camp of the Philistines to fight against David. Why Gath? Because Gath was in charge of this area. Gath is right behind us. He said, "You come out and meet and face me. If you win, we're going to be your slaves. But if I win, you're going to be our slaves, or are going to leave you to the bird and the beast of the field." So he leaves them with a bitter taste. That goes on for 40 days. Every day, the giant comes out and speaks to the Israelites. Actually, everybody see those two antennas? All right, from the antenna, go to the left, you're going to see one huge tree standing in the middle of the valley. You see that? You see that? That's Goliath. All right? So this is Goliath facing the Israelites, trash talking them for 40 days. All the Philistines in the back are cheering and yelling, and all the Israelites are shivering. And Jesse told David, take cheese and ephod and go down to your brothers, which are fighting against with Saul. So David actually did that walk. That's really not a far walk. Less than a day walk, and you're here. Okay? And David came and he saw all the people of Israel are very, very much afraid. This is actually a comic moment on this battle. So imagine David, a little boy, a youth, 16, 15 years old, coming down to give food to his brothers that are supposed to fight the battle, and what he sees, a Goliath, giant Goliath, yelling at the Israelites for 40 days, and everybody are terrifying. And he hears that the king says, whoever is going to win against this Goliath will marry my daughter Michal. She's a princess.
When Eliab, David's oldest brother, heard him speaking with the men, he burned with anger at him and asked, "Why have you come down here? With whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness?"
So basically Saul said, okay, I'm going to see this boy. And David comes and tells him, I have trust in God, because God delivered me from the hands of the bear and from the lion. He will deliver me again. And Saul is in great confusion right now. He doesn't know what to do. No one from his mighty men, Saul also had mighty men, no one from his mighty men is willing to go and fight against this Philistine. And this little boy comes and says, I'm going to fight against him.
Tunic, he put a coat of armor on him and a bronze helmet on his head. David fastened on his sword over the tunic and tried walking around him because he was not used to them. "I cannot go in these," he said to Saul, "because I am not used to them."
Cord, where's Cord? Cord, come here for a second. Thank you. We met our point. Thank you. So Saul gives Major David, he gives him his sword and his armor and his brass helmet, and you can imagine David walking around with that thing, dragging the sword because it's too heavy. He doesn't know how to pick it up. The helmet is not sitting well on his head, and it falls down. It looks comic. It looks absolutely funny. And all the people of Israel are looking at it and said, oh my God, this is the guy that's supposed to fight that Goliath.
David said to the Philistine, "You come against me with a sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those who gathered here will know that it is not by sight."
Let's look again at the battleground. We have Goliath over there. See Goliath? Everybody see Goliath? He's yelling at David. Everybody see David? He's too small. You cannot see it from him. Right? We have all the Philistines on this side cheering and yelling and shouting and starting to say, you're going to get this and you're going to get this and I'm going to take this loot and that loot. We have all the Israelites on the other side shaking and crying. And all of a sudden that tree is running toward the Israelite camp. And imagine this tree falls down. I can imagine if I were here, if I were a fly on the wall in that battle, sitting here, you would have heard a big across this entire camp right over here.
So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. David ran and stood over him. He took hold of the Philistine's sword and drew it from the sheath. After he killed him, he cut off his head with the sword. When the Philistines saw that their hero was dead, they turned and ran. Then the men of Israel and Judah surged forward with a shout and pursued the Philistines to the entrance of Gath and to the gates of Ekron. Their dead were strewn along the Shireen road to Gath and Ekron.
So the Philistines saw that, start running back to Gath and Ekron, which is right behind us. So they're running along this highway down there. This is the highway, right? The Israelites are in pursuit from over there to catch them. Everybody see right in front of me, in the middle of the forest, there is an empty ground, looks like a small ruined something. You see that? This is Sha'araim. This is the city of Sha'araim. And the road that leads to Sha'araim is that white road that you see where that bus is that connects to this highway. This is the road to Sha'araim. So the Philistine, we can see exactly what happened. This entire army is running toward northbound. The Israelites from the east are running westbound and killing all the Philistines all the way to the road to Sha'araim. Why is it so important for us? First of all, this battle, you can analyze it second by second. But this is the only place you can do it. If you're down in the valley below, you won't be able to see the whole thing. This is one of the most documented scriptures or documented battles we have in history. Why is it so important for us, and why are we actually finishing our study tour in this point? Folks, what happened here, you remember I told you that we should always start in the beginning. This is the beginning. They're gonna come and say, what do you mean this is the beginning? David was crowned to be a king by Samuel, but the only witnesses for that crowning was Jesse, the brothers of David, the Almighty, and Samuel. No one else knew about it. In this place, David established the kingdom of David, because the entire nation saw what David did. The entire nation understood that this will be the next king. And 1,000 years later, we have Jesus coming from the same lineage of David, from the house of Jesse, which is right behind us. David crowned by the nation right underneath us. This is the place that he actually became a king, and this is the beginning right here of the house of David.
Some of y'all have learned your stories. Some of y'all know my story. I'm wondering though, how many of us have Goliaths in our lives?